today.
Like what?
So, we just had a conversation.
What'd he say?
He's thinking about it. I think he's kind of leaning towards doing it. With everything, there are pros and cons. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I mean, it's a lot.
What if the man you loved turned out to be the man everyone warned you about? Ashanti's world is crumbling and it's all playing out in front of millions. But is this really the end? Or just the beginning?
Understand, how is it that you just sleep through when he starts crying?
Do y'all really be up at night? I heard about it.
You know what? It's absolutely ridiculous that you'll still be dead asleep and he'll be mad loud. That's ridiculous.
You know? It's a gift, I guess.
Why is that a gift?
I'm blessed with that.
No.
I'm gonna take you back to this conversation we had. Before you kicked me under the table, I said, baby, I give you the world. I just ain't changing no diapers.
Oh my God.
The internet is in full meltdown mode right now, and the reason? Nelly's ex Chantal just threw gasoline on an already smoldering fire. She didn't just hint, she dropped what looks like undeniable proof that Nelly's been unfaithful to Ashanti. And we're not talking about vague claims here. Chantal came armed with time-stamped texts, screenshots, and even location tags that line up perfectly with Nelly's recent tour dates. Now, here's where it turns from messy to downright tragic. You may remember that Nelly and Ashanti quietly tied the knot, keeping things low-key and aiming for that picture-perfect fairy tale. But instead of enjoying newlywed bliss, whispers of divorce are already swirling barely 2 years into the marriage. What makes Chantal's timing feel so intentional is that she waited until the moment it would sting the most. But it wasn't just her dropping the receipts that sent things over the edge. It was Nelly's response, or lack of one, that really had people raising their eyebrows. Fans are convinced Ashanti might already be packing her bags, and if you think this is just a case of messy gossip, think again. Chantal didn't leave room for speculation. She laid out a full timeline. From late-night texts to hotel bookings that match Nelly's tour stops, every detail seems to confirm a full affair. And heartbreakingly, this wasn't some one-off mistake. It looks like it's been going on while Ashanti was home, caring for their newborn. If that doesn't already make your head spin, it gets worse. Truth is, cracks in Nelly and Ashanti's marriage were already showing long before Chantal went public. Fans had been noticing it, especially after the couple's reality show aired. Instead of giving off power couple vibes, the show revealed tension bubbling beneath the surface. Nelly came across as distant, impatient, and seemingly unprepared for the woman Ashanti has become today. One moment that really stuck with viewers happened when Nelly was gearing up to perform at a major political event, the presidential inauguration. Big stage, big spotlight. But behind the scenes, Ashanti was visibly uneasy about it. Her concerns. Nelly didn't want to hear them. She opened up on camera about feeling completely brushed aside, like her voice didn't even register. And that wasn't all. Another scene had fans seeing red. Nelly flat out said he wouldn't help care for their son until the baby was old enough to walk, talk, and use the bathroom. No helping with late-night feedings, no changing diapers, none of it. Ashanti was expected to handle everything solo, while Nelly kept up his tour life, posting on social media like a bachelor. What really stung was how casually he said it, like it wasn't even up for debate. He wasn't joking, he seemed completely set in his decision. And just when you think it can't get worse, there's more. Ashanti shared on the show that Nelly never once gets up at night to help with the baby. Instead of expressing guilt or offering support, Nelly actually bragged about sleeping through everything, calling himself a good sleeper like it was some kind of superpower. His attitude wasn't just thoughtless, it came across as dismissive and deeply misogynistic. No compromise, no shared responsibility, just a man who made it clear he wasn't going to step up. Fans were quick to ask the hard questions. Was Nelly ever truly ready for marriage and fatherhood, or was he just chasing the image of a family without the effort it requires? Watching it all unfold, you couldn't help but feel for Ashanti. It's no longer just about a strained relationship, it's about a woman carrying both the weight of motherhood and the burden of keeping a crumbling marriage afloat seemingly all by herself. And judging by the growing backlash and the rumors already swirling, the internet seems to agree. This wasn't a sudden breakdown, it's been brewing for a long time. Once Nelly and Ashanti's reality show hit the airwaves, Everything people suspected about their relationship wasn't just speculation anymore, it was right there for the world to see. Behind those public smiles, things looked strained. The two tried smoothing things over with a joint interview, but rather than easing concerns, it only made things more obvious. Forced grins, clipped answers, and Ashanti barely making eye contact. Viewers could feel the tension. Instead of showing a united front, they looked like two people barely holding it together. During that same interview, someone asked them about the challenges of filming while raising a baby. Nelly's response: he brushed it off like it was nothing, praising their nanny and casually admitting he'd probably changed only 2 or 3 diapers. You could feel the awkwardness. His attitude made it painfully clear who was really carrying the parenting load in that house, and if things weren't already complicated enough. Nelly's ex Chantal reappeared with fresh allegations that flipped everything upside down again. According to her, Nelly's been cheating on Ashanti throughout his tour. Chantal claims this isn't some one-time. She says it's been happening regularly after nearly every show. Allegedly, there's a new woman backstage. She didn't just drop that bombshell without backup either. Chantal hinted that insiders, people close to Nelly, know exactly what's going on. Some of them are even starting to talk. And if you've ever seen the behind-the-scenes chaos of a concert tour, late nights, parties, plenty of temptation, you know this sort of thing isn't unheard of. Chantal's accusations didn't sound outlandish. They sounded like she was pulling back the curtain on behavior that's been going on unchecked for a while. According to Chantal, Nelly's tour isn't just about music. It's a revolving door of women, and fans couldn't help but connect that with how uneasy Ashanti seemed when Nelly first announced he was heading back on the road. On camera, she said all the right things, talking about being happy for him, but underneath that, there was real hurt. She wasn't just worried about parenting solo while he was gone. There were deeper trust issues bubbling up. Ashanti knows Nelly, she knows his history. This wasn't about insecurity, it was instinct, and frankly, given his past, it wasn't an unfounded fear. Then came Chantal's biggest reveal. Yet, screenshots of private DMs between Nelly and one of these alleged groupies. The messages weren't subtle. Nelly allegedly invited the woman to meet up after a show, and critically, the timing and location matched his tour schedule. It wasn't vague, it wasn't rumors. It felt very, very real. For Ashanti, this was beyond just embarrassing. While she was home caring for their newborn and recovering herself, Nelly was allegedly out living it up, making zero effort to hide it. But here's where things get even more layered. Not everyone's convinced Chantal is coming forward purely to protect Ashanti. Some folks believe there's more to Chantal's motives. Rumor has it, Chantal once thought she and Nelly would get married. When that didn't happen and Nelly, instead, built a life with Ashanti complete with a baby, people think Chantal waited for the perfect moment to expose him. Her receipts might be legit, but whether her intentions are clean is definitely up for debate. Adding even more weight to the mess, people have pointed out that Chantal once defended Nelly publicly when he was accused of serious misconduct years ago. Back in 2018, a woman named Monique accused Nelly of assaulting her after a concert. According to her, it started out as an innocent invite to an after-party, but things turned dark once they got onto Nelly's tour bus. Monique claimed Nelly exposed himself without warning and assaulted her, and then tried to convince her to stay with him like nothing had happened. That case rocked Nelly's image back then. And now with Chantal coming forward, again it's making people wonder if history has just been repeating itself. Maybe what's happening now with Ashanti isn't just a relationship gone sour. Maybe it's part of a larger pattern that's been there all along, only now it's finally catching up to him. Either way, one thing's clear. This isn't just tabloid drama. It's a story about trust, loyalty, and what really happens when the cameras stop rolling.
What were some of the challenges of filming with a baby?
What were some of the challenges of filming with a baby? I'm not going to even front like, we have a great nanny. And I mean, whenever I can pry him away from you, it's been pretty much a breeze for me.
I'd say.
Yeah. I probably changed 2 diapers.
I was just
in a
gonna
year.
say probably about 2,
Yeah.
maybe 3, maybe.
A couple of PPs, about 1 booby. I think I'm at my limit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
did good.
Didn't get on this time.
I did.
Yeah.
I definitely did.
When Monique said she wanted off Nelly's tour bus, she claimed it wasn't just a quiet exit. According to her, Nelly and his team forcibly removed her hand before she left. He allegedly threw a $100 bill at her. Like that was supposed to make things right, but things didn't stop with Monique. Two more women, identified as Jane Doe 1 and Jane Doe 2, later stepped forward with serious allegations of their own. In 2016, Jane Doe 1, a U.S. military service member stationed in the United Kingdom, recounted a disturbing encounter that she says left her feeling violated, unsafe, and profoundly shaken. According to her account, which surfaced publicly in the months following the initial wave of accusations against the rapper and performer Nelly, the incident took place after one of his concerts in England. She had attended the event with several friends, fellow service members who were eager to experience a night of music and entertainment. What was meant to be a fun and memorable evening, however, reportedly took a dark and unsettling turn. Jane Doe 1 said that following the conclusion of Nelly's performance, she and her group were invited to a VIP area of the venue. This invitation, she explained, was extended by members of Nelly's entourage. While she initially felt honored and excited about the prospect of meeting the artist, she noted in her statement that she had no expectation of, or desire for, any kind of intimate encounter. Her sole intention, she said, was to briefly meet the performer and perhaps take a photo or share a few words. Once inside the VIP section, Jane Doe 1 described the atmosphere as crowded and energetic. There were flashing lights, loud music, and people milling about, with Nelly positioned as the center of attention. She recalled that after a short period of mingling, she was approached directly by Nelly, who seemed friendly and welcoming at first. He asked where she was from, what brought her to England, and expressed interest upon learning that she was a member of the U.S. military. However, she alleged that things quickly took a troubling turn. According to her, Nelly began to touch her inappropriately. Jane Doe 1 claimed that his hands moved over her body in ways that were both uninvited and unwelcome. She emphasized in her statement that she had given no indication of consent, nor had she reciprocated any of his advances. Feeling deeply uncomfortable, she tried to step away and leave the VIP section altogether. That, she alleged, was when the situation escalated further. Jane Doe 1 reported that as she attempted to exit the area, Nelly physically blocked her path. His demeanor shifted, she said, from casually flirtatious to aggressively insistent. His body language and tone made it clear, in her words, that he did not want her to leave. It felt like I was trapped, she recounted. Like I was stuck in this place where I didn't feel safe, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen next. She described the feeling of powerlessness in that moment, noting how the presence of Nelly's entourage and the crowded environment contributed to her fear. She further claimed that Nelly made verbal remarks that added to the threatening atmosphere, while she did not specify all of his words. She stated that his comments implied consequences if she insisted on leaving or if she rejected his advances outright. At this point, she explained, she was not just uncomfortable, she felt genuinely unsafe. Her attempts to attract the attention of her friends proved difficult, as they were spread out across the venue. Ultimately, according to her account, she managed to extricate herself by slipping through the crowd when Nelly momentarily turned his attention elsewhere. Once out of the VIP section, she sought out her friends and left the venue as quickly as possible, still shaken by what had transpired. Jane Doe 1 did not immediately report the incident to local authorities or to her chain of command within the military. She explained that at the time, she felt uncertain about how to proceed, fearing skepticism or disbelief due to the celebrity status of the person involved. Her position as a service member stationed overseas added further complexity, as she was unsure how such a report would be handled in a foreign country or whether it could have repercussions for her military career. It wasn't until several months later, amid growing public attention to other allegations against Nelly, that Jane Doe 1 decided to come forward. Encouraged by the broader cultural conversation surrounding sexual misconduct and emboldened by the voices of other alleged victims, she shared her story through her legal representation and informal complaints. Her allegations became part of a larger pattern of accusations leveled against the rapper, casting a spotlight on the issue of consent and power dynamics involving celebrities and fans. Jane Doe 1's account has not been tested in a court of law, and Nelly has publicly denied all such allegations, maintaining that he has never acted inappropriately with his fans or anyone else. His legal team has characterized the claims as unfounded and has suggested that they are motivated by a desire for attention or financial gain. Despite these denials, Jane Doe 1 has stood by her statement, describing the personal toll that the incident and its aftermath have taken on her life. She cited emotional distress, lingering anxiety, and difficulty trusting others as some of the enduring effects. For her, sharing her experience was not about seeking fame or compensation, it was, she said, about holding individuals accountable and encouraging others to speak out when faced with similar situations. In interviews following her decision to go public, Jane Doe 1 has emphasized the importance of creating safe spaces at entertainment venues and ensuring that all individuals, regardless of gender or occupation, feel protected from unwanted advances. Her story has resonated with some advocates for sexual assault awareness, highlighting the particular vulnerabilities faced by women in uniform, who may feel isolated while serving abroad, while the legal and public debates surrounding her claims and those of others continue. Jane Doe 1's account stands as part of a broader narrative concerning consent, power, and the complexities of reporting misconduct involving public figures. Jane Doe 2's story is even more unsettling. After a meet and greet in Essex, she says Nelly invited her backstage. Once inside, she alleged he started pleasuring himself, tried to rip off her top, and forced her hand toward him, becoming aggressive when she refused. Her words, "I'm just frustrated. I'm not used to not getting my way. Just do it." Given all that, Chantal's recent claims about Nelly cheating on Ashanti feel a lot less surprising. And here's the part that really complicates things. Back when these accusations first surfaced, Chantal publicly defended Nelly. At the time, she didn't just quietly stand by him, she called those women liars. Her exact words, "Those dates that these Jane Does are claiming, I was at those venues, in the dressing rooms, and on that tour bus." Chantal positioned herself as the woman who knew the truth, painting the other women's stories as harmful fabrications. And Nelly didn't take her support for granted back then either. He made big, public declarations about her, saying things like, "I would not want my life to not have Chantal in it. We've been seeing each other for 5 or 6 years. Anytime you can connect with somebody like that, it works out in the long run." He even talked marriage. It wasn't just casual praise, it sounded like real promises. So looking at where things stand now, it hits differently. Not only did Nelly not follow through on all those promises to Chantal, but he ended up rekindling things with Ashanti, getting married, having a baby, and pushing Chantal completely out of the picture. When you add it all up, Chantal's decision to expose him doesn't feel random or petty, it feels personal. Years of loyalty and public defense, only to be left behind. It's not just exposure, it's payback. Now, all the cracks in Nelly and Ashanti's perfect public image are wide open. Tour bus accusations, bold demis with groupies, complete radio silence from Ashanti. This doesn't look like a minor rough patch, it looks like the whole thing might be falling apart. So, here's the real question. Is this Nelly's final strike? Or is Ashanti about to pull a move no one expects and stand by him, too? Either way, it looks like that fairy tale might already be a full-blown nightmare.